is that?
Oh my God!
This is a certified hood classic.
All this money on me. Yeah, cash rolls all around me.
Yo, what's going on, man? How y'all feeling, man? Feeling great, man. Listen, we got a video, man. A couple y'all sent my way. It's called The Sad Story Behind Juice WRLD's Overdose. All right. Listen, man, it's a little over 11 minutes, so it's kind of long. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to waste too much time. For me, I know that obviously, you know, we all know about, you know, the fact that he passed away from an overdose. But, you know, for me at least, the details is, you know, have always been kind of hazy. You know what I mean? Like, I never really, like, got the whole grasp of the story. You know what I mean? So, this came out not too long ago. Apparently, they're kind of talking about it. So, all right. Y'all know what I always say in Juice WRLD reactions, man. Run them likes up for Juice. Triple nines in the comments, man. And rest in peace, man. Rest in peace to Juice WRLD. So, smack a like on the vid, man. Let me know you with me in the chat. Let's do what we gotta do. All right, come on.
To know if you should be back 76 to Cabana Circle or to the...
On December 7th, 2019, Juice WRLD and his entourage would begin to board a Gulfstream private jet that was located inside the Van Nuys Airport. The private jet would eventually take off at 8:23 p.m. PST, with its final destination being the Chicago Midway International Airport. The jet would be airborne for just over 3 hours before safely landing at the Atlantic Terminal in the Chicago.
Shout out to Vault, man. All right, go subscribe to their channel for this.
Midway International Airport at around 1:28 a.m. CST. But little did Juice WRLD know that the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and the Gang Investigation Federal Task Force were waiting for them to land. After landing, Juice WRLD and his entourage were confronted in the lobby of the Atlantic Aviation Building by 3 FBI agents, a canine officer, as well as Officer Romero of the Chicago Police Department's Gang Intelligence Unit. Authorities would then immediately request Officer Mazzillo to have his canine perform a narcotics search on all of the luggage that was on board the private jet, which was already conveniently loaded on 2 separate luggage carts in the lobby. The canine immediately detected narcotics in the luggage on the first cart. Officer Mazzillo would then take the canine outside, where it would later return to detect even more narcotics in the luggage on the second cart.
Damn.
Authorities would then notify Juice WRLD and everyone else that was on board the private jet that the canine detected narcotics in the luggage and that the suitcases were going to be opened and searched. While the search was taking place, Ali Lottie, Juice WRLD's girlfriend, would return from the bathroom and take a seat on the lounge chairs in the lobby with Juice WRLD seated directly in front and to the right of her. Juice WRLD would then slowly turn around to face Ali Lottie and let out a deep, loud screech before throwing his arms in the air and falling to the ground. Juice WRLD would then begin to convulse on the ground while blood leaked from his nose and mouth. Ali Lottie began to scream for help. Chicago police officers Michael Botica and Daniel McAuliffe would then claim to immediately start helping Juice WRLD by rolling Juice on his side to help with his breathing. Officer Botica would then call for the Chicago Fire Department, while a Homeland Security Investigations agent gave Juice WRLD 2 shots of Narcan. Officer Botica would then claim that after receiving the Narcan shots, that Juice WRLD would stop convulsing. Juice WRLD was then
Now, mind you, right? Mind you guys, all right? As they stated in the beginning of this, all right? This is all from the street. You know what I'm saying? It's speculation. You know what I mean? Some stuff could be taken out of order. Some stuff can be taken out of context. So just keep that in mind, all right?
Transported to the Christ Hospital in Chicago by the Chicago Fire Department paramedics, while the authorities would uncover 41 vacuum-sealed bags containing 70 pounds of marijuana and 6 prescription bottles of codeine.
Damn.
After the search, 2 members of Juice WRLD's entourage were taken into custody by police. The first individual was a man by the name of Henry Dean, who was Juice WRLD's personal security guard at the time. Henry Dean was never on the private jet, but was waiting for them to land at the Chicago International Airport along with a limousine service to pick Juice WRLD and his entourage up in.
Right.
After getting word that Juice WRLD safely landed, Henry Dean would enter the airport to help everyone that was on board the flight with their luggage, but was quickly stopped by authorities. Officers would then ask Henry Dean if he had any weapons on him, which he would inform them that he did, in fact, have 2 firearms on him but has a valid firearms owner ID as well as a concealed carry license. Unfortunately, these licenses did not allow him to carry a concealed firearm inside an airport, and police eventually arrested Henry Dean on 3 charges relating to the firearms he had in his possession. The other individual...
That's why you gotta make sure, man, like, you know, when you carrying your guns, bro, y'all gotta make sure that y'all got the paperwork, you know what I'm saying, that come with that, and that allows for y'all to travel with it in certain spaces and certain buildings and certain, you know what I'm saying, like, y'all gotta make sure, like, you know, y'all do that, because y'all can easily get caught up in bullshit. Just because you got paperwork to have it don't always mean that you can just take it anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it may sound like common sense to people who are, you know what I'm saying, Second Amendment, you know what I'm saying, people, but for the most part, not everybody knows it.
Arrested was Chris Long, Juice WRLD's personal photographer and videographer. Chris Long was arrested after authorities discovered a bag containing camera equipment along with a .40 caliber pistol hidden inside. When asked who the bag belonged to, Chris Long would claim ownership of the bag but denied any knowledge of there being a firearm inside. Chris Long would then be arrested and charged with unlawful possession of a firearm at around 2:03 a.m. on December 8, 2019. A little over an hour later, Juice WRLD would be pronounced dead by Dr. Sean Motsney at 3:14 a.m. The cause of death was later revealed to be oxycodone and codeine toxicity. Everyone else that was on board the private jet was free to go without any additional charges. But what about the 70 pounds of marijuana that was trafficked over 2,000 miles across the country? It was stated that neither of the suitcases containing the vacuum-sealed bags had any name or personal items that could be linked to any of the passengers on the jet, and nobody claimed ownership of the suitcases either. But why was it even on the jet in the first place?
Right.
Juice WRLD was a rich and famous superstar. Why would anyone put Juice WRLD in that position in the first place? Regardless, the feds weren't just going to let drug trafficking slide, right? After looking further into the police report, something odd stood out to me, and that was the fact that the Gang Investigation Federal Task Force was waiting for them to land. I can understand that if the pilot called in a tip stating that there were narcotics and firearms on board, why the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and the police being there. But the Gang Investigation Federal Task Force seems strange and oddly specific. I began to do more research, where I eventually discovered that just 6 days before Juice WRLD's sudden overdose, the Chicago Tribune released an article claiming that the FBI is in town to investigate the death of a Chicago rapper who went by the name of Shoota Shells. Shoota Shells was a member of a Chicago gang called Black Mob, and back in 2017, released a song on YouTube titled Death of 150, which was a brutal diss to a rival gang. The rival gang targeted in the song goes by the name of No Limit, with its most well-known members being rappers G Herbo and Lil Bibby. Lil Bibby is also the owner of Grade A Productions, a record label Juice WRLD was heavily involved with since...
Yeah. He's gonna always be tied to Juice, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna always be tied to him, obviously. Hold up, man, it's starting to get a little spicy now. Wait a minute.
This to a rival gang. The rival gang targeted in the song goes by the name of No Limit, with its most well-known members being rappers G Herbo and Lil Bibby. Lil Bibby is also the owner of Grade A Productions, a record label Juice WRLD was heavily involved with since its start, and would later sign onto a multi-million-dollar joint venture deal with Interscope Records. Now, while most Chicago gang members are known to be some of the most savage individuals, Lil Bibby was different, with his main focus always being money, and was known as a big-time drug dealer who rarely dissed opposing gang members. When the Chicago...
Right, he was more focused, like, okay, so he was more about leverage, you know what I'm saying? My man was more about, and there's always one, right? Like Nipsey, you know what I'm saying? People going, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at him as, yeah, he was a gang member, but... you know, his focus was more so on other things, not really gang banging. You know what I'm saying? Like, he kind of used that, you know what I'm saying, to kind of get to where it was a means to an end, so to speak. Like, he didn't really, you know, and sometimes some people feel like they don't got a choice, right, to be in these gangs. It's everywhere. Your friends is in it. You know, you don't really see anything crazy about it. You know what I mean? But so I didn't really know that Bibby and G Herbo's connection with each other like that. I don't know, for whatever reason I just didn't have that connection at that point, but I always knew about Bibby and Juice WRLD's connection. But I didn't know he was in a gang though. That's interesting.
drill scene started to gain traction online back in 2012. Names such as Chief Keef, Lil Durk, G Herbo, and Lil Bibby were some of the biggest in the industry. Juice WRLD, who grew up in Homewood, Illinois, a Chicago suburb just 30 minutes south of where Lil Bibby is from, became a huge fan of the drill scene. And when Lil Bibby showed interest in Juice WRLD, he signed him almost immediately despite having similar opportunities to get into the music industry. After signing, Juice WRLD, who had no gang ties prior to meeting Lil Bibby, was now acting as if he was a lifelong No Limit gang member and began involving himself in very serious situations that had absolutely nothing to do with him. For example, Juice WRLD would start dissing a guy by the name of Posto. Posto was a member of a Chicago gang called Lakeside, which rivals No Limit, and was brutally murdered back in November of 2013 at just 18 years old after being shot in the head while standing in the first floor hallway in a building located on the 2700 block of East 80th Street in Chicago.
And on my wrist is a glass house. Smoking Pasto till I pass out. So what you say about Pasto? This is a dirty ass out.
Juice WRLD would also diss another No Limit rival who went by the name of Lil Mister. Lil Mister was a well-known Chicago drill rapper and a member of a Chicago gang called Wooga World. On March 15, 2019, Lil Mister was fatally shot in the head after a drive-by on the 7400 block of South Harvard Avenue. He was only 24 years old at the time of his death.
We say we smoking on Ghost, smoking on Katie Pack and Pasto and Mister the most. Man, I'ma kill you know it though.
In addition to all that, Juice WRLD also began to drop rakes, which is a gang sign used to disrespect anyone affiliated with the Gangster Disciples.
Hey, we dropping them bitches, ain't we, folks?
Most of these subtle yet very serious expressions of disrespect would go over the heads of the majority of Juice WRLD fans, but fans of the Chicago drill scene would immediately take notice and criticize.
Yeah, see that, yo, man. This is ridiculous, man. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's insane to me, man. Obviously, to his fans, you know what I mean? Like a majority of his fans, let's just be honest, a majority of Juice WRLD's fans had no clue about any of that. You know what I'm saying? They knew nothing about any of that gang terminology, the slang, who he was smoking on, who he was dissing. Most of the time that shit goes over a lot of people's heads because you know them for a certain kind of music. You don't really know them like Juice WRLD wasn't a gangster rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, could he talk that shit? Yeah, he could, but he just told you like, yo, this nigga was from the burbs. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had no real affiliation with these people. You know what I'm saying? Prior to being signed. Now, mind you, he may have, known people that were affiliated, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case is. But at least from what Vault is saying, he didn't really have no real, ties to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were, him and Bibby were cool. Now, I don't know if Bibby kind of was, telling him on the low, hey, yo, fuck these niggas. We don't really bang with them. You know what I'm saying? And maybe out of loyalty, Juice felt like he had to kind of diss these niggas, you know what I'm saying? But like, me personally, man, like, I just feel like I probably would have stayed out of that shit. If it ain't got nothing to do with me, if it ain't got nothing to do with, what I'm saying, where I'm trying to go, like at the end of the day, that shit ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't know, man. It's crazy to see people do shit like this, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
Most of these subtle yet very serious expressions of disrespect would go over the heads of the majority of Juice WRLD fans. Yeah. But fans of the Chicago drill scene would immediately take notice and criticize Juice WRLD and No Limit online. One Chicago drill specialist by the name of Rasha947 would comment, "Wow, this is actually shameful. How are No Limit letting him do this meal ticket or not? Straight clown. He would be on this sub if he wasn't famous." Another drill superfan by the name of Throwaway8881 would say, "Herb, Cairo, and Bibby are some clowns for letting him do all this."
Right.
A now deleted user would respond to that comment with, "It's gotta be awkward these savage hood dudes pretending to vibe with him just for money and clout when he's clearly some soft suburban dude, and him trying to pretend he can relate to their savage mentalities." These situations are prime examples to show the lengths Juice WRLD would go in order to fit in with the No Limit street gang.
But see, that's the thing, bro. That's the craziest part about it, yo. Like, if he really had no affiliation to these dudes and he really wasn't like a part of that lifestyle, but bro, what are you doing, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you really doing? Really, I really blame this remind me so much of Tupac, bro. This remind me so much of Tupac. Like, Tupac didn't really grow up, you know what I'm saying, this gang banging ass dude. Like, that really wasn't him, you know what I'm saying? But out of loyalty to Death Row, he had to kind of put on this, you know what I'm saying, facade. And remind you, for the longest time, Tupac was always questioned. Like, dude, like, you know, which kind of guy are you? Are you a thug, you know what I'm saying? You know, are you a gangster, or are you this, you know, are you a chill guy? Like, you know, a poetic dude, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that's real. Like, which one are you? Because for one second, this dude cool as hell. And the next minute, this dude is gang banged out, you know? And it's like, bro. So Juice kind of was taking that same route, you know what I'm saying? Where a lot of people who really understood that culture and really came from that was like, yo, Juice, what are you doing? Like, this is not you. Like, you're not that guy. You know what I'm saying? So why are you pretending to be? You know what I'm saying? What, you just trying to impress Lil Bibby? You know, going back to the Tupac shit. What, Tupac, you trying to impress Suge Knight? Like, that's not, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, people gotta relax with that shit, man. People gotta really relax, man.
Examples to show the lengths Juice WRLD would go in order to fit in with the No Limit street gang. Now, going back to the narcotics found on Juice WRLD's private jet, fans
and one more, and I'm not gonna pause it no more, man. But yo, what I was gonna say was I blame Bibby the most, cause like, nigga, what the fuck, bro? And maybe that's why Bibby feels so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe that's why Bibby, like, every time he talk about Juice, he gets teary-eyed and shit, because maybe, you know, he realizes that, yo, you know, and I know, like, Juice's death has nothing to do with the overdose and nothing like that. Or maybe, I don't, you know, like, has nothing to do with the gang shit. Not, you know, maybe not the overdose mixed with the gang. I don't know. But I think deep in the back of his mind, Bibby knows that, like, he probably should have, you know what I'm saying, shielded him from certain stuff. Instead of him being the meal ticket, using him for the bread, maybe he should have actually took a little bit more care of him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. It's just crazy.
gang. Now, going back to the narcotics found on Juice WRLD's private jet, fans have been speculating on several theories since the day it happened, with the common one being that the narcotics found on Juice WRLD's private jet were for personal use and were most likely being brought from California to Chicago to be given out to the guests at Juice WRLD's 21st birthday party that was scheduled on the day he unfortunately passed away. Another theory being discussed online is that Juice WRLD's girlfriend, Ali Lottie, was the mastermind behind all of this, with the evidence being leaked court documents claiming that Ali Lottie was arrested for trafficking meth back in 2017. Ali Lottie denied these claims on Twitter by tweeting, "Never seen meth ever, and I'm pretty sure meth is Adderall. Again, this paperwork has nothing to do with me. I'm so sorry. I don't even know the lawyer." Fans would also speculate that Chris Long may have something to do with this due to his ties with the underground cannabis industry in Los Angeles.
This is Chris Long, the plug.
Royal Buds LA is a store that sells medicinal marijuana.
Yes.
And you're the manager. Who owns it? Or can you talk about that?
Some guys own it.
So you really can't talk about who owns it?
I'm not gonna.
Okay, that's
The
fair.
weed business is a
already
business
shady.
where
I love the weed business.
information is kept close to
They
the
don't
chest.
leak it.
Yeah. But basically, he works for some dudes that own a lot of them. Like, he works with them, and they are fucking.
How'd they
kingpins
find
with
you?
the shit.
And others, more specifically the Chicago drill scene, would speculate that
Yo.
No Limit was behind all of this the whole time, with one highly upvoted comment in particular stating, "Juice WRLD was getting extorted, even though some people like to deny it." Another user would respond shortly after saying, "Thank you. Why would Juice WRLD be traveling on a jet with so much weed? No Limit was using him as a crash dummy. He just so happened to be a superstar." We will likely never know why and how this situation came to be, but at the end of the day, 70 pounds of narcotics were found in the luggage on board the private jet, with the Gang Investigation Federal Task Force in particular waiting for Juice WRLD and No Limit to land.
Man. Wow, bro. Well, like, hey, like, as he said in the beginning, man, take all this with a grain of salt. But, you know, a lot of this stuff, you know what I'm saying, like, I didn't really know too much about. Because, I mean, let's just be honest. Like, why would they put this out on Front Street? It's unfortunate, bro. But let this be a lesson to people who, the gang shit, bro. Like, they're trying to be a hood nigga. Like, that shit is played out, man. Like, if that's not who you are, don't try to get tricked or forced into doing that. Like, if it's not who you are, be who you are. You know what I'm saying? If he was a suburban kid that, you know, had suburban problems and grew up in this type of environment, then rap about that. Do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody would have an issue with that. There's way more people that relate to that than relate to the street shit. You know what I'm saying? But hey, man, you know, I ain't even gonna preach like that. But yo, let me know what you thought about this down below, man. You know, did you agree with it? Did you think, you know what I'm saying, there was a bunch of bullshit? Like, let me know. All right, smack a like or even dislike this joint. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Rest in peace to Juice. Love you guys, man. Link to this will be down in the description below if you want to go check it out for yourself, man. With that, stay lit, be you, stay true, man. Peace.